The book, Managing the Mind, Not Time, by David Kadavy. How to Effectively Improve Your Productivity. The book, Managing the Mind, Not Time, by David Kadavy. How to effectively improve your productivity. Have you ever felt that no matter how much you plan and organize your schedule, you are always late? It is exhausting, isn't it? It has been ingrained in our minds that achieving optimal productivity requires strict management of every moment of our day. But is this concept accurate from a scientific standpoint? In an in-depth study presented by writer David Kadavy in his book, Managing the Mind, Not Managing Time, presents a completely different perspective that emphasizes that the essence of success lies not in trying to cram more tasks into our daily schedule, but in being in harmony with one's abilities. When he faced Kadavy with the challenge of writing his book, he discovered a fundamental truth through his personal experience. After many attempts to apply traditional methods of time management and reducing distractions, he came to discover the focus of true productivity that stems from the effective management of mental energy, and not from simply organizing time by aligning tasks. With optimal mental states, he was able to achieve tangible achievements in his writing project. Welcome to Coffee and a Book. If you're looking for content, inspiring and useful, we are here to offer you the best of what we have. We offer advice on self-development, book reviews, and a lot of exciting content that will help you achieve your goals. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Join us on this fun journey and share your thoughts and comments in the videos. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to it. To see you on the channel, The Optimal State of Mind, David Kadavy represents an exceptional model in the world of professional writing that he never imagined himself to be. He was an author at the beginning of his career, and writing was not one of his primary interests. However, a very tempting offer to write a book radically changed the course of his life. Motivated by his professional commitment, he began to restructure his entire life to achieve this goal. He strategically allocated his time resources, abandoning his social obligations and recreational activities, completely abandoning his efforts. To complete this ambitious project, unlike many authors who enjoy a spontaneous creative flow, David faced many challenges in the writing process, despite devoting long hours. In front of the computer screen, he remained unable to produce the required content. As the deadline for submitting a quarter of the book approached, the psychological pressure on him escalated, and he became obsessed with the expectations of his social and professional surroundings, troubling him greatly. In a decisive moment, he decided to participate in a boycott training course in the hope of renewing his creative streak, and in a moment of fate, coincidence brought him together with a local person. Wadud exchanged a spontaneous conversation with him in the Spanish language. This meeting brought about a radical change in his state of mind, which it enabled him to complete the first chapter of his book within 1 hour. Through this inspiring experience, David reached a fundamental conclusion. Success in writing does not depend on time management as much as it depends on creating the optimal state of mind. Effective management of the mind goes beyond just focusing on tasks. It requires deep understanding, thinking mechanisms, and creativity dynamics. When faced with a to-do list that seems overwhelming, the mind management methodology offers a creative approach rather than wondering what can be accomplished at the moment. To explore tasks that are in harmony with our current state of mind. Aligning mental energy with work requirements represents the basic key to achieving optimal productivity and avoiding wasting valuable resources. The optimum point of creativity, 429. Developing creative abilities requires a scientific methodology and not just an innate talent possessed by some and not others. Creativity, unlike material goods, does not. It can be acquired, but it requires a deliberate and solid process of development. In this context, experts confirm that the mental state plays a pivotal role in the creative process, whether in the field of storytelling, music composition, or plastic arts. According to writer David Kadavy, in creative thinking can be classified into two main patterns: divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking is manifested in the stage of exploring multiple and diverse ideas, while convergent thinking appears when organizing and interconnecting these ideas into a coherent framework. Let us take creative writing as an illustrative example. When embarking on the writing process, we are faced with multiple strategic options. Do we adopt a formal style or do we prefer it? In a dialogue, do we reveal our identity or maintain secrecy? This stage embodies divergent thinking, while convergent thinking is manifested in making the final decision and choosing the appropriate path. Achieving optimal creativity requires identifying the ideal point in which the spatial and temporal conditions conducive to creativity converge. Creative work is not just methodological steps that can be followed. Rather, it is a visual process that culminates in what is known as the moment of sudden inspiration. Neuroscientists confirm that this visual moment represents a turning point in vision and reshaping perspective. This creative moment, which some call the eureka moment, represents the pinnacle of the creative process, where ideas crystallize and visions are revealed with complete clarity. Whether that is in formulating a piece of music, inventing a story plot, or completing a work of art, this moment represents the turning point in the creative path. Discovering a point, your creativity. Achieving optimal performance goes beyond simply choosing a specific time of day. It's about awareness, deep energy levels, the focus required to achieve maximum productivity. Is that energy levels naturally fluctuate during the day as various activities, whether work meetings, social interactions, or creative activities, consume a large amount of our energy. Therefore, it becomes necessary to determine that ideal period in which our abilities reach their peak. This requires aligning work patterns with the circadian rhythm of our biological clock, which controls the sleep-wake cycle, can be visualized as an upward cycle that extends throughout the day. Alertness increases over time, but this alertness is affected by the amount of rest we get. When we do not get enough sleep, sleep debt accumulates, leading to a noticeable decrease in energy levels. This explains our feeling of lethargy around 2:30 p.m. when the circadian rhythm intersects with the accumulation of sleep debt. A deep understanding of our circadian rhythm enables us to improve the management of our focus with great efficiency. Studies have shown that the majority of people achieve higher productivity levels in the morning. We find an example of this in the practices of distinguished violinists who devote the first hours of the morning to focused training. This approach was also followed by the distinguished writer Virginia Woolf and the psychologist Skinner, as the morning represents the period of maximum alertness, for most individuals to maximize the benefit from your period of creativity. David, First Hour Strategy. This methodology promotes discipline by allocating the first hour of the day to the project of greatest importance. Not just any project, but rather it must be the highest project in the field. Prioritization. Focusing on this project at the beginning of the day greatly increases the financial flow of its completion with high efficiency. This approach is not a theoretical example, but rather an applicable reality. By starting the day with the most important task, we effectively reduce the possibility of postponement and avoid potential obstacles before they appear. The 4 stages of creativity. Practicing creative activity goes beyond the limits of time allocated for writing or drawing, as the mind continues to work on creative projects even in times of apparent rest from work. It is important to realize that the creative process is not limited to those moments in which we sit at our desks holding the tools for creative work. The distinguished world of social psychology, Graham Wallace, has provided us with an integrated scientific framework that includes 4 basic stages of creativity, which constitute a comprehensive roadmap that leads us through the entire journey of creativity. The first stage is preparation. The comprehensive planning process for your project requires careful and systematic analysis and deep intellectual exploration.
As it turns into a knowledge repository, it is a mobile device that collects and analyzes the necessary information for your project. We can cite the experience of David Kadavy, who followed a similar methodology in writing his book.
Kadavy's careful style, which was evident in his contemplative sessions in the midst of his rich library of books, newspapers, and magazines, confirms the importance of the stage of assimilating information. The whiteboard that comes with the initial ideas and plans for the chapters attests to the value of this organized approach is that his extensive research was not just a waste of time, but rather a necessary investment in moving to the next stage. Next, creativity with confidence and ability. The second stage is incubation. This is the stage in which you move away from actively working on your project. You may focus on something else or spend time with friends and family. Taking breaks is essential. Forcing yourself to complete a task immediately does not always work in reality. This can lead to frustration and anger, which makes it difficult to reach your creative point and move to the third stage. The third stage, illumination. The decisive moment in the creative process is manifested in that sudden inspiration that comes as a radiance, and the difficulty of interpreting it systematically represents a fundamental turning point in the creative path. However, achieving this exceptional moment requires careful and systematic preparation in the preliminary stages. Sufficient investment in the preparation stage is a basic condition. To reach this advanced stage, we hope for an inspiring experience from the world of music that clearly embodies this concept. One of the giants of music, Nasra, had an exceptional creative moment when he woke up from his sleep inspired by a distinctive melody, and with his wisdom and acumen, he rushed to the piano to write down this musical inspiration, which led to the creation of an immortal musical work. However, this success was not the result of coincidence, but rather was the result of years of experience and continuous practice in the field. This meticulous preparation of music is what enabled him to capture and employ that creative moment efficiently and with care. Upon completion of the final verification and verification stage, the fourth stage, verification. In this crucial stage, we must conduct a systematic and in-depth evaluation of the ideas derived during the stage of creative inspiration. A careful, critical analysis of the idea is essential to ensure its feasibility, originality, and distinctiveness. Let us take an illustrative example of a professional musician who faced the challenge of verifying the idea. His originality began with professional diligence and intellectual honesty. He devoted a year and a half to auditing and scrutinizing, investing this period in refining and refining each element musical work, from melodies to words and arrangement. Committing to a disciplined creative approach and allocating sufficient time to each of its stages is a prerequisite for producing distinct artistic works. Each stage represents a vital link in the integrated chain of creativity, and skipping any of them may negatively affect the quality of the final product and its artistic value. The 7 mental states. For creative work, Mr. David Kadavy does not follow strict rules in his creative production. He relied on strategic practices and places that facilitated him reaching the optimal state of mind for writing. Specifically, he regularly visited the 5th floor of the John Hancock Center to write down his notes in his personal notebook. Although his thoughts were scattered at first, starting to write inevitably led him to discover the necessary elements to enrich his thoughts. This place contributed effectively to organizing his thoughts and achieving the desired clarity. It is worth noting that the Upcento Coffee Cafe was his other favorite destination, where the beautiful scenery combines with the deep aroma of coffee to create an ideal environment for flowing creativity. As is the case with Mr. Kadavy, you can adapt different styles of work to various mental states, as your mental state ranges between 7 distinct basic states. First, the priority mental state. This is the stage in which you focus on planning, decides what to do and how to do it, as well as determining what is important and what is not. This is what David did during his time at the John Hancock Center, where he was setting priorities and planning his writing. Secondly, the exploratory mental state. This state is not about organized research. It is about allowing curiosity to roam freely without feelings of guilt or expectations. For example, you may want to draw something, but you are not sure what to draw. While searching for inspiration, you may find yourself. You watch an entire documentary about the history of drawing, which allows Fadul to take you where he wants. Third, the research mentality in this case is looking for specific answers to specific questions that are often found. David himself is in this situation searching for how to structure a chapter or verifying the facts that he intends to include in his writing. Fourth, the creative state of mind. This is the stage in which you actually create. It is the stage in which you take the ideas that you collected in the previous stages and put them into action, whether that is writing the first draft or drawing the initial design. This is the practical creative work. Fifthly, the cosmetic mental state. In this stage, you revise and edit what you have created, verifying that your sentences are logical, and you make sure that there are no unpainted spots on the canvas or adjust the intensity of the colors that may need to be lighter or darker. Everything is related to improving your work. Sixth, the administrative mental state. You cannot focus on creative work all the time. There are other responsibilities that require attention, such as paying bills or spending time with your family. This state of mind is important because it allows you to balance your creative life with other important aspects of your life. Seventh, the state mentality for renewal. Sometimes you need to take a break and renew yourself, whether that is taking a day off, going on vacation, or even getting a massage, as David does when he feels stressed. This state helps you relax and renew your activity. Even watching funny videos or movies can help you. Ways to calm him down. Your mind and renewing your creative energy. By recognizing these mental states and learning how to work within them, you can improve your creative process and stay productive while avoiding burnout. Difficult situation. David found himself in a difficult situation. He was scheduled to interview Dr. Rock for his audio program, a character who was a great source of inspiration for him. Dr. Rock wrote the book Your Mind at Work, which helped David understand how the mind works in creative work. David considered Dr. Rock his role model. Above all, the day of the interview came with several challenges. Firstly, there was construction going on in the apartment that David rented, and the noise was non-stop all day. It was the worst possible environment for recording a podcast. Secondly, David had recently moved to Panama City to work on his book, and he did not. He didn't know the neighborhood well enough to find a quiet place to conduct the interview. Third, David knew that rescheduling the interview was impossible. A famous person like Dr. Rock was always busy, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The outcome seemed clear. David would have to cancel the podcast. Something was going well that day, but then something happened. His creative system reacted, and David wrote an email to Dr. Rock. Somehow, his sense of despair disappeared. He faced each problem head-on and found solutions to every challenge that stood in his way. In the end, David was able to successfully record an interview with Dr. Rock. The creative system. The creative system is a repeatable process that helps you advance in your creative work. It is designed to guide you through each step while conserving your mental energy. You can think of the creative system as an umbrella. Covering your creative cycles and stages of creativity, it oversees the entire process at the heart of the system. Creativity is the minimum creative dose. This is the smallest and simplest step you can take to keep your creative work moving forward. For example, if you are a writer, your minimum creative dose may be to write just one paragraph. Focusing on this small task helps you balance your other priorities while continuing to progress. Benefit from open loops. Creative works also benefit from open loops. Here is an example. When you feed your cat, you may notice that the food you are running low. You write down a note in your mind to buy more cat food at the store. This is an open loop because it keeps circulating in your mind even while you're doing other tasks. Although the open loops take up space in your brain. Although this may seem like a negative thing, the open loops are actually beneficial. Your creativity keeps your projects alive in your mind, which helps you keep moving forward. Let's go back to the writing example. If you write just one paragraph for your book, it creates an open loop in your mind. You can come back to it the next day or the day after. As time goes by, you will continue to add more paragraphs to that original paragraph. Even if you do not spend your entire day writing, you will not feel guilty. As long as you are making progress, you will maintain momentum and avoid losing progress. The creative system and eliminating excuses is the best part of the creative system. It is that you can have several episodes open at the same time. One episode may be related to developing the plot of your story, while another may be related to the background of a character. The creative system also eliminates excuses. You cannot say that you do not have time because the minimum creative dose takes only a few minutes. With this approach, you will always find a way to continue to advance in your creative journey, no matter how busy life is. Conclusion: we have provided you with an in-depth insight into strategic management of mental capabilities. To achieve maximum levels of productivity and creativity, effective mental management revolves around aligning yourself with the optimal state of mind for each task, rather than imposing a schedule. Strictly, we adopt a wiser approach that takes into account the psychological state conducive to each work. Discovering the point of personal creativity is a pivotal factor in achieving optimal mental management. Through a balanced combination of divergent and convergent thinking, we open the way for exceptional moments of inspiration that lead to outstanding creative achievements. Studies have proven that the morning period represents peak productivity for many due to clarity of mind and lack of distractions. The 4 stages of creativity constitute preparation, incubation, illumination, and verification are an integrated system that is indispensable for achieving exceptional results. It is integrated with the 7 mental states: priority, exploration, research, creativity, refinement, management, and renewal to form a comprehensive framework for creative work. The creative cycle plays a pivotal role in achieving the optimal balance between periods of intense work and necessary rest. This cycle enables us to determine the time frame, the most appropriate system for each individual, whether weekly, monthly, or seasonal. The creative system represents the organizational framework, the comprehensive system that guides the entire creative process. This systematic system provides a clear roadmap for each stage of the creative cycle, with precise instructions on how to implement it. In our accelerating era, where everyone seeks to achieve more in less time, we must remember the value of second thoughts and reflect on the creative process. True excellence requires patience and perseverance. Let us always remember that great achievements are worth waiting for. Let us appreciate every step in this creative journey and allow creativity to develop accordingly. Its natural rhythm